You're all welcome to the Future of Education Conference in Toronto. The title of the presentation is Equality, Diversity and Inclusion, and it's also about teachers' perceptions and the incorporation of this as a toolkit for best practice in the future of education. So, in the UK, many teachers have been exposed to the concept of equality, diversity and inclusion. CPD programs have been known to many teachers across the levels of education: pre-primary, primary, secondary, further education, tertiary education, and higher education. But we still have some challenges in the understanding of the perceptions of equality, diversity, and inclusivity. So the survey was designed for teachers to identify their perceptions of this concept. So we asked them, what does equality mean to you? And these are a few of the results of the survey. So when we asked them, 26% of them felt that equality meant equal treatment. 31% of them felt that it meant it was dealing with every student in the same way, as in the same treatment for all people. And 43% of them felt that it was about providing separate services to different groups of students in a way to meet their different needs. We will talk about what equality actually means in the course of the presentation. We also asked them about diversity, their perceptions of diversity. 30% of them felt that it meant life's issues. 34% of them felt that it meant differences. And then 20% of them felt that it meant variety. Again, as we proceed, you'll be able to identify the answers to this question. And then the third question was the outcome for equality, their perceptions of equality in their pedagogical practice. 3% felt that it meant passing at all levels in terms of their assessments, in terms of assignments, homework, and things like that. And then 9% felt that it meant achieving in different respects. And 88% of them felt that it meant for every student to reach his or her own full potential. So in view of all the professional development programs run for teachers, we realize that perceptions vary amongst teachers in the UK. Also, one of the questions, amongst others, was about teenage parents. In the UK, we have a problem with young people who find themselves in the family way, and sometimes they get excluded from education. But there are policies surrounding measures to bring such parents back, young parents back into education. So this question was designed to get them thinking, to reflect on their practice and policies in their institution. So we asked, do teenage parents form a part of the equality strands in the UK? 11% of them said no. 89% of them said yes. And as we go through the course of the presentation, we will find accurate answers to this question. So the objective of this presentation really is to raise the awareness of equality, diversity and inclusivity, which is a UK government policy. It's not just about education, but it's a general policy. It's also to expose practitioners, and when I say practitioners, I mean teachers, professional educators, assessors, trainers, lecturers, to a range of EDI strategies, EDI being short for equality, diversity and inclusion. To also incorporate these concepts into our pedagogical practice, and also to explore and anticipate benefits of EDI to actually measure the effectiveness of this policy in education. And like I said, it's a very, very general, very broad policy, but the government is advocating that these policies feed into every aspect of life in the UK, education inclusive. So what is equality? What do you think equality is? What is equality not? What is your perception? What is my perception? First of all, I'm going to erase the perception of equality. It's not fair treatment for everybody. It's not equal treatment for everybody. It's not the loose terminology where we say it's impartial or fair treatment for everybody. Okay, what is diversity? Diversity simply means differences. Some people choose to use the word variety. That's fair, but the convention is differences. Acknowledging huge differences in our students. You do agree that all our students are different. So do we acknowledge the difference? Do we celebrate the difference? And then also inclusion, which is about ensuring that every student in the group feels valued and acknowledged, and that they're not isolated. So what is equality? According to that policy, equality is about the provision of separate services to different groups of people to ensure equity and representation in a specific context. So we are not aligning this to education alone. We're looking at it from a very broad sense. So it could fit into business organizations, charitable organizations, education, all kinds of organizations. So it's the provision of separate services, the need to meet the individual needs of students. So what is beneficial to one student may not be beneficial to the other. So it's not the same treatment for every student. So the commission set up by the UK government to oversee equality and diversity practices in the UK is called the Equality and Human Rights Commission, and here is their definition of equality, or the explanation of all the principles behind equality. It says every individual should have an equal chance to make the most of their talents, capabilities, and endeavor, and no one should have poorer life chances because of where, what, or to whom they were born. So it's basically providing different services to different people, possibly at different times, to ensure that all their needs are met. So within the UK government, and under this policy of equality and diversity, there are what we call the strands of equality. Under these strands, we have what we call the 9 protected characteristics. And this is from a government point of view. These are the strands, and you would agree with me that people who fall under these strands sometimes are marginalized in society. Sometimes we tend to overlook them. For gender assignment, sexual orientation, age, marriage and civil partnership, sex, disability, race, religion or belief, pregnancy, maternity. Some of this causes serious controversy. Cannot continue to ignore the characteristics of our students. We need to ensure that we do everything to ensure that our students all achieve, irrespective of the characteristic they fall under. This is from a government point of view. So why are we concerned about equality and diversity? Why am I concerned? Why am I so passionate about it? Is it imposed on schools and institutions in the UK? Maybe it's imposed, but it's good. It's of serious and immense benefit to every student in the UK. And I'm so passionate about it to the point that I want to advocate it and promote it across the world. And I was very pleased when I got the email that the Future of Education Conference had approved of it to be shared with delegates in this conference. So why are we concerned? What is the world like right now? Is it the way it was 20, 30, 40 years ago? What is the profile of our students? Are we doing everything to meet their needs? There's so many issues around the world right now. Are we bringing those issues to the classroom? What's our pedagogical practice about? Is it the conventional talk and chalk? We're moving on. Are we shifting focus? Let's take a look at this. If we click on the link, so if we shrink the world into 100 people within a village, this is what we will come across. I'm not going to mention all of that. You can click on that later on. The world is changing, it's dynamic, and so is the profile of our students changing. Some of you may have come across this. It changes from time to time. is there. Last year it wasn't like this, the figures have changed and it continues to change. Last year there were more males than females, now it's 50-50. So there's quite a lot of information there. PowerPoint. Okay. So as we develop our pedagogical practices, we always tend to give the same assessment, don't we? And take a look at that and see whether that assessment is fair. Do you agree that students are of different characteristics, they're all unique? Or I'm going to move on very quickly. So we need the toolkit. What's the toolkit? These are what make up the toolkit. 10 strategies to incorporate EDI, because it's about incorporating EDI into our pedagogical practice. Which is experiential learning, which is about learners' experiences and how they can bring the experience into the classroom, how they can share their experiences. We've got multisensory learning, which is about the style of learning, visual, kinesthetic, and auditory learning styles among our students. We've got cooperative learning, group work, pair work, differentiation. What are we doing to meet the different needs of our students? What is unique about them? What are their characteristics? Do they have any hidden disabilities? Do we make any provisions for them? Do we have a unit within our institutions to care for the hidden disabilities of students? We're all looking very normal, but are we all normal? Embedding literacy, language, and numeracy. So it depends on the language in your country. Do your students speak grammatically correct language? Do they pick up language from the street? Does it fit into their learning? How do they write? Are we able to develop their skills? The numeracy, literacy skills. If you do not have basic numeracy skills because of your subject specialism, do you do anything to develop yourself and also bring this into the classroom? At any point in time, literacy and numeracy skills are being encouraged by every teacher to be developed in our learners. Assessment for learning, do we give feedback? Do we make timeouts to see each and every student by highlighting their strengths and their weaknesses and strategies to overcome their weaknesses? What about learning conversations? Relating theory to practice and vice versa. The theories we teach them, are they still valid in this dynamic world? What about practice theory as well? And also using e-learning and technology. We can't emphasize that enough. We're using that here. I think that goes without saying. Every teacher has a mobile phone, iPad. Do we encourage our students to also buy such instruments? We bring them into the classroom. And then finally, modeling. You can read all these things online. So this is a toolkit to help us embed equality, diversity, and inclusion in our pedagogical practice. So what are the benefits? For me personally, and I'm sure I can talk for my colleagues, these are the benefits. We're encouraging our students to live in a world where there is no culture shock, as highlighted by the last one and the fourth one. It recognizes and celebrates success. It maximizes cultural and developmental opportunities for all students, irrespective of their characteristics. It prepares students for a future that is improved and enriched. Students come out, achieve with a huge sense of fulfillment, and they're very happy, and they can do a very good and positive feedback to their learning experience in their institution. It also improves our practice. The students can always reflect back on the learning experience. I'm very happy that my teacher did everything to help me and support me in my achievement. I think the most important thing about this policy for me is a deep respect for each and every student, irrespective of the background. And these are the references. Thank you very much.
But there's also the need as well for a communication between the student know we're going to have a conversation about that.
Yes.
Definitely. Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, could you please go back to the slide definition of equality from the government? It might have been like the second slide. Sorry. Yes. No, not that one.
Yes, generally in education, we agree in the UK that there's a provision of separate services to different groups of students to ensure equity and representation in a specific context. In education in the UK, that is the conventional definition. But according to the Equality and Human Rights Commission, there's quite a lot of interesting facts on the website. Please feel free to click it and read through. This is the principle behind equality, that every individual should have equal chance to make the most of their talents, and so on and so forth. Yes, please.
With that said, how or in what way is this definition shared with educators on the primary and secondary level?
Yes, this Equality Act was developed in 2010, but it's a combination of other acts of Parliament over the years, and it's grown. It used to have 6 protected characteristics, and then it developed to 9. So institution heads are encouraged to develop CPD programs, like Marie has said, to expose tutors, teachers, and lecturers to this same concept and adapt it to the education context. It's not only about education, it permeates every level, every industry, community, and non-governmental organizations, charitable organizations in the UK. So it's strongly communicated to education professionals in the UK, but it goes beyond education.
Questions? Do you have any contact details that people can contact you on at all?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I'll share that with anyone who's interested later on.